Hey Oracles, it's Anne, and I just posted a video of the reveal from Running with Scissors where I got this awesome necklace. You want that information, please go check out that video. Make sure you like and subscribe and share it, guys. Anyway, in that video I mentioned that I had some tips and stuff for you guys out there, and I decided because the video was running too long to just go ahead and make another video separate from the one I made with Running with Scissors and the eBay reveal. So, here it is. Um, I have made a list of the top reasons as to why nails lift, break, and or pop off. Of course, the number one reason would be prep. You're improperly prepping. You're not prepping enough. It's part of improper prepping, basically. But to prep properly, yeah, said that right. You want to make sure you're removing the cuticle from around the side walls and around the edge of the nail bed and, of course, the nail base. You also want to make sure that you're not only moving that cuticle out of the way, but there's a second skin to the cuticle. It's a medical word that I can't say to save my life. Anyway, it's spelled P-T-E-R-Y-G-I-U-M. It is a very thin layer of skin that actually is attached to the nail bed that you kind of need to make sure that you're getting rid of. And making sure that you are not overfiling the natural nail before you're applying. You want to make sure you're just removing that very top layer of the nail. That's it. You just get rid of the natural shine and call it there. If you are using an electric file to do that, I would suggest to maybe go to hand filing for that. I know it sounds like a pain, but it's safer because you really don't realize how much of the natural nail you're actually removing with the electric file. And I have nothing against the electric file. That's you, do you, boo. You know, if you use the electric file, do you. You know, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not, against electric files. I'm just a hand filer. That's how it is. Anyway, so that could be a number one. That's actually the number one reason overall as to why nails lift or pop off or break or things like that. The next would be your liquid to powder ratio. I suggest for anybody, even if you've been doing nails for 20 years, to always refresh your liquid to ball ratio collection. And I mean, just get a piece of paper and sit there for at least an hour practicing picking up your balls, Sorry, I'm trying to keep a straight face saying that. I need a better phrase for that, but that's what they called them when I was in school, is your acrylic balls, So make sure you got a good grip on your balls. But I would always refresh myself at least once a month just to make sure I'm getting the correct ratio between monomer and powder. And you can always find templates online. If I do find one, I'll post it down below, but they're really not that hard to find. And then you just laminate it, or you put it in a plastic sleeve that you can get, like a sheet protector. And then just practice dropping your balls and making sure they're not too wet or too dry. And you can tell if they're too wet, they're just going to drip off the brush. If they're too dry, there's still going to be dry powder on the outside of your ball. You want a ball that's glossy and smooth and kind of looks like it's floating on the brush, not sunk into it. I may just have to do a video on showing you how to pick up proper balls, but you have to understand that I have a lot on my mind. But it'll eventually come. So I will get to it. I will put it on my list of videos that need to be done. So you guys can kind of get a general idea and kind of show you what I'm talking about as far as practicing. Crossing manufacturers. If you are using OPIA powder and you are using ASP monomer, that possibly could be what's going on. And I'm not saying that is what is going on, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. Usually with professional products, the manufacturers sit down and figure out the chemical formula that is appropriate to use with the actual acrylic that they are selling. You also have to take in consideration that Sally's is basically a discount store for professional products. So the quality of their products you have to keep in mind, and you cannot think that you're going to get professional level with their products. And that may be offensive to say, and people might get upset over that, but you have to take that in consideration. It's like, going to the dollar store for a blanket. I can go get a $40 blanket at a home furnishing store, or I can go get a dollar blanket from the dollar store? Which one's going to hold up better? Obviously, right? And the reason that is just the way it is. It's just the way the manufacturer is. The cheaper you make it, the cheaper it's going to be. Just take that in consideration when you're buying acrylics. I myself, because I'm doing these videos and and I have been putting them on and taking them off, I have no problem using the inexpensive stuff from Sally's. But if you're someone who is dedicated to wearing them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, then I would make the investment into professional products, making sure I'm using professional acrylic and professional monomer. Just take that into consideration. But it is another reason as to why you're not getting the proper bond between natural nail and acrylic is because you're mixing monomers from other companies with acrylic powders from other companies. Just take it in consideration and try switching it up. If you are using, like I said, OPI acrylics, use OPI monomer and see if you have less problem with lifting and breakage. Overfiling is another thing. As weird as it sounds, is that you can actually overfile. The whole idea of the way the nail is created is to create it so you have to do as little filing as possible. So that's another thing. Practice, 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 because if you are laying thick, chunky nails and you have to file a lot, that heat causes the acrylic to cure faster than it needs to cure. You have to understand that there's a chemical reaction going on in the nail at the time. When you add the monomer to the acrylic powder, the chemicals get together, they mix, and it causes heat to form. If you ever notice that when you're putting your acrylics on, they feel warm, that's because the reaction between the chemicals of the acrylic and the chemicals of the monomer, which is allowing the acrylic to cure. If you file on top of that, adding more heat, you're causing the acrylic to cure faster than intended, which causes it to basically cure really quick and not allow it to sink in and cure with the actual nail bed. So if you... I'm trying to think of an example so I could explain it better, but basically, if this is the nail bed and this is the acrylic, and you're adding and filing on top of it, and it's curing slowly, it has time to sink into the nail bed and allow for proper adhesion. And if you add heat and friction to that, and you add it, it cures really quick, and it causes lifting and bubbling within it because it doesn't have time to kind of attach. Like, glue would, like how it seeps in and cures and it kind of just sinks, and that's how it sticks. But if you add more heat and you cause it to heat and cure really quick, you cause it to pop because it doesn't have time to attach to the natural nail base. So take that in consideration. So make sure when you are applying, you try to apply as thinly as possible, because you can always add more if necessary, and make sure that the filing you're doing is necessary filing and you're just not filing it down just because you want to, Of course, dust, but that kind of feeds into prepping, because after you prep and of course you remove the top layer of the nail, you always want to make sure you're using your nail brush or some sort of brush or something like that to remove the dust off the nail, to make sure that you have a clean, clear surface in order for you to apply to. Also, take into consideration that most acrylic systems do require a two-step prep. They do require a dehydrator and a primer. If it is not listed otherwise, you should be doing a two-step prep. The reason I say that is because the dehydrator takes the natural nail oils out of the nail, allowing for a better base in order for your acrylic to bond. If you don't dehydrate and you just prime, the primer itself doesn't necessarily get rid of those natural oils, which can cause the lifting, popping, and the breakage to your actual acrylic nail. So make sure you take that in consideration, and make sure anytime you buy any acrylic system, you read the instructions fully. They are there for a reason. Just don't assume you know how to apply it because you've been doing nails for years. I know how to do it. I don't need no stupid company who developed the product to tell me how to live my life. No, you do, because that's where you're going to run into problems, because some actually do stress the point that you need a dehydrator and a primer. Others say you just need a primer. If that's the case, follow the instructions. Ugh. Sorry. Also, lifting. People who pick at their nails, pick at their polish, have a tendency to pick at the lower end of the acrylics. Another reason why I'd be lifting or tapping too much. When you tap, it will bend your nail, which causes lifting here and causes it to pop off. So if you're a tapper or you type a lot with your nails, they're going to have a quicker lifting possibility because you're constantly banging them. Constantly. Please take that in consideration. If your job requires you to type, work with your hands, do not wear ridiculously long nails. First off, you're damaging your actual natural nail. Second off, not only are you damaging your natural nail, but you're causing lifting, popping, breakage, and other things that you're not realizing you're doing because you are sitting there going da 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 da, or banging a hammer or doing this. Keep them short. You can still make beautiful nails that are short. So just, a little FYI. Also, if you are a hypochondriac, now it is time to turn this off and walk away. If you don't know what a hypochondriac is, it's those people who decide that they are basically have every disease under the sun. Basically, they start listing off, people are like, well, I have this symptom. Oh my God, I have, something super deadly. I don't know what's deadly. I have Ebola because I have diarrhea. That's a hypochondriac.
A little bite and it's home.
Okay, sorry, my son's talking to me. Okay, honey, then go ahead and eat it. Sorry. Oh, I gotta love my kids. Anyway, my brain just left me because my son distracted me. Hypochondriacs. Yes, seriously. So if you are one of those people who think you have every disease under the sun, it's time to turn around and go away because these are just possibilities as to why nails are lifting. Diseased nail plates. That may sound weird to say and be like, oh, my nails look fine. There's no way I'm diseased. But it could be an underlying issue within your body you need to take into consideration. As weird as that sounds. If you have yellowing, redness, pain associated with it, other than, if you overfiled or anything, sometimes also take in consideration when acrylic cures, it does cure hard. And so it does shrink. And you may have some tightness in your fingers for the first day or two, but that's just because of the acrylic. But if you have abnormal pain, swelling, redness, bleeding, blisters, or anything, obviously you're allergic. Get them off as soon as possible. Please note, if you are noticing this and you're noticing it right away, get them soaked and get them off. If you go to the emergency room, they're going to rip them off. I'm just telling you that. So if you notice that you're allergic and you notice the first signs of redness and they hurt, get them off. And get them off the best way possible because, like I said, the emergency room will take pliers and just rip those mother effers off. It will hurt like a bitch. And they're not going to care if they rip your freaking nail off because they're trying to get it off because you're having an allergic reaction. Please keep that in mind. So if you are unsure if you are allergic to acrylic, please test yourself. Do your pinky nail. Do the smallest nail you have. Do your pinky nail. Allow it to sit there for a little while. If you are not noticing wetness, swelling, bleeding, blisters, hurt, pain, of course, then you're probably not allergic to it. Probably not. But please take that in consideration. Just like any other chemical that you put on your body, you are putting something that is unnatural on your natural self. So just take that in consideration. Also, certain types of medication can cause issues with acrylic lifting and bonding because of a chemical reaction within the body's natural ability to leach fluids and things like that. The medication can cause lifting and popping and breakage. Like heart medications, insulin can cause things. Also, like I said, with allergies, it can automatically do it. Your body's just going to reject it and it'll just pop right off. Please take that in consideration. Another reason would be contaminated primer. I change my primer every time I do a set. It's that simple. I don't just leave my Dap and Dish filled with primer to use on my next set because once I've used it on one set, it's already been contaminated for the next. So use less monomer than you think you're going to need, because you can always add monomer. And making sure you're keeping your dapping dishes clean. I always clean mine after every use. If there's any monomer left, I dump it, because picking it back up and putting it back in my monomer is going to contaminate the rest of my monomer. So you're going to sit down and do a full set or fill, use less monomer than you think you're going to need, because you can always add, but I would never ever put monomer back in its original container from a dapping dish. And I wouldn't. That's just me. But also, if you have too much nail glue on your tips and you're not removing that, here's the thing. Here's my nitpicky thing. And I cannot sit here and say I don't do this myself. But in nail school, you're always taught to blend tips. Always. I sat there, even with clear tips. My instructor stressed, you gotta blend them in. So, if you are putting tips on and your glue leaks outside of your tip area, you have to take it off. You have to file that off. You have to sit there and file it off. And you have to, make sure you're getting rid of that, because that is also going to cause lifting, bubbling, and everything else in the nail, causing the popping. Just another thing. But like I said, even with clear tips, I know you guys are sitting there like, clear tips don't show up, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, pink and whites, they might not show up, but if you're doing a whole clear nail, you can visibly see where the tip and your natural nail are. But it's a personal thing, honestly. I was always taught to blend tips. I myself have skipped that step a majority of the time recently, because I have been using clear tips, but at the same fact, it's just something you have to take into consideration when you're gluing your tip down, to see if excess glue has gotten onto your natural nail, because that just wrecked your first prep and you have to refile. Please remember to do that. If you are planning on cleaning your house after you get your nails done, that is another thing that can cause issues. You are mixing chemicals with other chemicals, which can cause reactions, which can cause lifting, popping, and or breakage. So if you get your nails done and you're like, well, I'm going to go scrub toilets for 3 hours, or I'm going to go wash my floor by hand, or, I'm going to clean windows, take that in consideration. If you are going to clean your house, I suggest buying some cheap medical latex-free or latex gloves. You can even get them at Sally's. You can get the hair salon latex gloves or non-latex gloves, and put those on and then clean your home, or get like the big yellow floppy rubber, gloves, to protect your nails, because that can cause lifting, popping, and breakage, is the mix of chemicals from your chemical products that you use to clean. Even washing dishes, even hand soap, take that in consideration. If you are one person who takes a bath a lot and you sit and you soak, what happens? Things shrink, things enlarge from water, causing swelling, causing things, and causing your nail to change. That can cause popping and lifting because of the change, because things expand, and then when they dry up, they shrink, which causes the lifting, the popping, and the breaking. The last thing I have down here is acidic juices. As weird as that sounds, and as gross as that just sound coming out of my mouth, but if you are a juicer, or you cook with lemons or oranges or limes, anything acidic like that can also cause it to eat away at your acrylic, causing lifting, popping, or breakage. Sorry this video went long, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys had a quick idea of what could possibly be leading into these problems. And you may already know this stuff, and if you do, great for you, I'm glad for you, but this is just for those ladies out there who aren't sure or don't know exactly what could be going on as to why they're lifting and popping and their nails are just falling off. Again, guys, I'm always here. If you have questions, comments, leave your comments down below. Questions, you can email me, or you can leave them down below and I will answer them to my best of my abilities. But like I said, these are the common reasons that I found over the years of doing nails, over the going through school, doing research and things like that. These are the most common things that I have noticed. It could help some of you, and some of you it can't. Some people aren't meant to wear acrylic. I'm sorry. If you're noticing that with acrylic, try moving to gels. If you're noticing it with gels, sorry, I have an eyelash in my eye. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Okay. If you are noticing that this is consistently happening, no matter how much of this you've gone in, no matter how much I've said about this today, and you're like, I'm doing everything right, I don't have any allergies, I'm making sure things aren't contaminated, I'm using brand new, I'm using the same products or anything like that, um, try gels. If gels don't work, then I mean, I don't even know if anybody does fiberglass anymore, but fiberglass used to be taught. You can try fiberglass. Um, Otherwise, I would suggest doing press-ons. I know I just like almost went like, ugh. But you can make beautiful nails beforehand and just get some of the nail stickers. They're like those glue pads, and um, and stick them on, and then you can have them at least for a temporary purpose. But like I said, not everybody can wear acrylics. If you have allergies or things like that, also take into consideration if you are allergic to monomer acrylics, like liquid acrylics and things like that, you are more than likely allergic to gel, because gel is just acrylic. I mean, you just got to take that in consideration. Um, just I just don't want anyone to get hurt out there. But anyway, guys, sorry for the long video. Again, questions or comments, please, feel free to comment or leave questions down below. Remember to always like and share and subscribe. Turn that red button to gray. Make it a great day. And as always, until we meet again, this has been Nail Oracle. Bye, guys.